Welcome to today's meeting. We're here today to talk about the current curriculum. We're going to define the problems and talk about the problems, about the current curriculum. The goal for this meeting is to identify what the problems are and come to a decision about what we can change or if we should change anything. The process, we're going to start by which course we could potentially eliminate and what courses we need to keep at all costs, and ways to strengthen or change that major or minor, and as well as identify which information overlap between courses that can be eliminated. Who want to start?
So now we need to say which course we think we should eliminate.
Well, I think we should also recognize the factors of what a curriculum is. It's the framework of educational experience objectives and content design to guide student learning within a specific academic setting. So we should also recognize who of these people, if we cut certain things, will be hurt, who will not be allowed to continue to pursue their education here because it's cut. Just those kind of empathetic factors, and the fact of certain professors will possibly be cut their jobs because of cutting out.
Well, most of them have like at least 2 classes, so
Yes,
No.
but some people also could like pursue this full time out of enjoyment. Yeah.
and how are we supposed to know?
We
Doing
won't
full
know.
time.
This will be a big risk. It will obviously hurt. It's just something that we need to recognize. But in the process, we're just gonna try to pinpoint who would be least hurt. And yeah. What is a course that you guys think should be eliminated that won't be as effective to faculty or students here?
I have one. I think that microeconomics and microeconomics should be one class, because here you see 2 classes for each, and I feel like each of those classes doesn't have like more content, a lot of content, for be like just one class. And I feel like since both classes are related, it will be easier like for the student just to make micro and macroeconomics in the same semester.
So basically unite a core class that will have business majors. Okay, I like that, but what is something you would eliminate from it? Which, because that like economics will still be in place even if you combine it.
Or at least one class, so you're eliminating one class to make it just one class.
This is
We
an
just have
information
economic.
overlap we can like,
Combine
yeah,
instead of
combine.
having the overlap.
But we're gonna talk about that later, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe we can eliminate music education because that's
Yes, that is.
No, I know which one we should eliminate. College success and leadership. I think that class,
You said college success and
Yeah.
leadership. Okay.
like,
What's
I
the
didn't
reason?
learn anything in that class.
Do you
be
feel like
honest.
it was the professor? in
It
that
was not the
case?
professor. The professor is good, but like the content from the class is just
It's
like
not as.
is not helpful at all.
Okay, do you think it's just. Oh, you also took the class? So do you feel like this is a discussion that many students have about this course?
Yeah. Yeah, completely.
Okay.
I would disagree with that. As an international student, I thought that was a very easy class, and it really helped me integrate into like school here. Like it was very basic and easy, and it was a good first step in getting used to all the other classes.
Maybe that's true, but the thing is, I was here 2 years, and then I came from a third year, from a junior year, and then I started doing that class. It's like I went back to my first year. So like
So
at least put some
implementing-
requirements of who needs to take it, because
So the curriculum definitely needs to focus on the person's year of education, so it doesn't place them backwards.
Yeah.
Because for instance, for Will, it helped him as a first year, but for you as a third year, it's not as helpful. So really taking the initiative to kind of organize it based off of the year and someone's completion of the course has to be something that definitely needs to be implemented. Because I had to retake college algebra, and I already took that before I came here, so that was kind of frustrating. Even though it's definitely helpful for some, so I wouldn't remove it. It's definitely something that should be considered when picking out those classes for those students, so I don't feel like they're not learning in the process. Based off what I had searched, just as he said, like music, it is actually known that the least common college majors in the state is drama, like theater arts, music in that area. They have biblical studies and human services, human development, family studies, all that. So stuff that plants in the music department and humanities is not a common degree that people go into. So I do agree that music, there's a possibility for it to be removed. Not a lot of people are coming to West Virginia to pursue music. We don't even here have the best music program. I'm not too sure, but what I have heard, it's not the best. I feel like it could be, music could definitely be eliminated because it won't be hurting too much compared to humanities. People in the educational, like undergraduate degree, they're gonna have to take a form of humanities no matter what.
and I guess that type of like resources that they use towards that class, they can shift
Yeah.
it to any other business activity or something that will help
Yeah.
like the students.
There's definitely a couple courses within humanities that I would say could be removed. Like, I don't know if you guys took On Her Voices. You guys never took the online course for On Her Voices?
Actually,
Okay. I just felt like it wasn't very useful when it comes to my major. And I feel like that's another thing the curriculum needs adjustments to, basing electives off one's major, so it's not constantly getting out of it. Because why is a business major taking photography or elective?
There's those classes that you just need to feel for.
It's, yeah, so I
That's-
would
that's more
also,
important. Probably the class by itself is good, but
yeah,
not for the major that we're doing. You know?
exactly. So I feel like also decreasing credit requirements should
Yep.
be issued,
Oh yeah, 100%.
because most people come to college to pursue whatever they want to fulfill in. Even though having an extra elective can help someone possibly, think of something else, there are many students who believe it's not necessary, and a lot of people don't end up changing. At least here, they're like majors as often based off an elective. So definitely considering a decrease in credit requirements should be considered. Identify one course that must be retained at all costs. Business management courses, I feel like should be retained at all costs. I feel like a lot of people are just going into it. It's heavily encouraged within these days to go into business or management. So I feel like that should continue to be implemented in the curriculum. What do you guys believe should be retained within it?
I feel like accounting should be retained at all costs in any major. Well, not any major, but business related. I think every major has to have accounting. It's not just because it helps you for your major, but like in life will help you too. So I think it's a really useful course.
I think a small business course, because that's why I'm getting my business degree, is to open up my own business. So a small business course is like beneficial because it teaches me like how to operate a small business, and that for me is beneficial.
the small business, I think small business is a really good class, and I feel like I'll learn a lot in
Right.
that class too.
Yeah.
Those classes are requirements. They're not usually electives, so that's definitely a good thing that is implemented with the education system here on those kind of courses, because they do help. Like accounting definitely helps. I also feel like accounting also should be taught in every major though, because you know you can pursue whatever, but you know real life you need to know how to manage money. You need to
Yeah.
understand what's going on, and not knowing that could make you ignorant to certain conversations or less knowledgeable, which doesn't really help your circumstance as a person who's, you know, 23, 24, trying to adjust to life. So it should be encouraged for sure, just for the knowledge portion. Suggest ways to strengthen.
Going back to like the course that should be retained at all costs. I feel like the most basic one, like math or English is something you should retain. Like, you can't get rid of the basic courses because accounting builds on math,
Yes.
or
I understand that.
other courses build on English. So it's just my opinion. We need to retain
Like what type of
the
math?
fundamentals, like college algebra,
Algebra.
because that will help you in almost all other classes down the line.
I think if you know basic math, having an accounting class, you will still excel because accounting class isn't X times B or whatever.
Like equations.
It's
all
just putting the numbers together and subtracting the numbers. So I
Well,
think
it is for financial planning. That's
And-
the only thing.
we also have
that it's more algebraic.
Yes, it is kind of. You have to. There's like, I don't know if you remember like the FB PV tables where you have to implement putting in information and trying to figure it out. I feel like definitely for financial planning courses, algebra can be something that could kind of. I'm not saying for all business majors. We usually do simple math like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. But there's times where you have to implement certain things, and sometimes just practicing it can help those people get in the habit of doing it.
So we're in the third point, we suggest ways. Yeah, right.
So
I mean, we're basically saying like we can substitute, I don't know, photography for accounting, because accounting will be more useful for the student.
well, accountant's also considered as a requirement for some people, where photography is mostly a
Yeah, I mean, you can put it also like for the business majors, it's a requirement. But what about the majors that are not business related? Like you can offer it if they wanted to.
No, that's true. I feel like photography does help for certain like
I
digital
was just using
marketing.
as an example, but yeah.
Yeah, digital
or music,
marketing.
yeah.
It's definitely useful for photography for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have to take that as a requirement, possibly. Now thinking about it. I also feel like there's just missing data that can lead to inaccurate information within our conversation that is preventing us from looking at this as a whole. Because I feel like in order for us to really get this decision as accurate as possible, we just need a bit more data, like surveys or something, samples, etc. Because although we believe as a team that certain things are helpful, I feel like we're somehow still missing a bit more information. But I feel like we do have a decision that we mutually agree upon that eliminated or fixed. Well, eliminated for sure music, retained business requirements, strengthen or implement certain courses depending on the major, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Suggest ways to strengthen major and minor. So what do we think about minors that should be strengthened or changed? For instance, I'm taking accounting. I'm an accounting concentration, so some people might think that's a minor. One of my friends taking a business minor. Is anyone taking a minor here? This group? No. Okay.
I have an associate, so that's a minor essentially, but
Okay.
I'm not taking a
Oh,
minor.
how does it work? Like while you're taking your major, how
Well,
do you take a major?
For instance, even though I'm not taking a minor, I'm taking a concentration accounting. So with it, as we know, there's a bunch of electives that are thrown to cover those credits. So I basically removed those elective credits I needed, and I put the concentration in place because, for instance, accounting, you're only taking four courses for the concentration. So that's just for like electives being taken out right there, which really needs to be taken. But it helps. It helps me to focus on what I want to learn and cut out things that I don't want to learn and things I want to focus on. For instance, like the concentration is you'll go through intermediate accounting 1 and 2, cost accounting, and tax. I feel like they're pretty good. There shouldn't be anything strengthened or changed besides in accounting 1 or 2. They should kind of implement going more in depth within the chapters, because even though that's what the concentration does, I feel like there's certain information that could have been gone over a bit more, or it's possibly just me how I retain information, and it doesn't follow along with other people following the same path as I. The concentration in it. What's the strange thing? Do you guys feel like there's a major or minor out there that could be strengthened or changed? Well, you guys haven't taken them. It's good. Identify information overlap between courses that can be eliminated. As we said before, economics, combine and making it 2. Is there another overlap with courses that any of y'all feel could be eliminated?
Principles of management and organizational behavior. They overlap. I'm taking both of them because I'm a business major. But I don't think we should eliminate them. I think they could be integrated into one because they cover the same thing, like controlling, planning, leading, and organizing. They both talk about the same thing, so I'd say integrate both of those into one, possibly,
Okay.
instead of eliminating it.
Speaking of that, I feel like they should do the same thing for accounting 1 and 2.
I agree with that.
They should just combine it as well, because I felt like accounting 2 was just kind of like the same thing.
Just with different names.
Yeah, it was just more going like into those beginning chapters again.
Yeah.
But I feel like it causes a form of boredom, because like for instance, I'm learning more amongst bonds and stuff and how they're implemented in accounting and businesses, and I find it more interesting, and I find a lot of people lose interest in like accounting 1 or 2 because it's so basic in a manner. I feel like there should be other information included that is more helpful in a manner. What's another course that can overlap?
I mean, you have a lot of Excel in business software, accounting, and statistics. Like you could, Excel is something you use in most classes, and I think you can integrate that better. I don't know how. I would like your opinions on that, but
No, for sure. I was thinking about that before. I think that in those little beginning courses, like the accounting 1 and stuff, they should have began us with what Excel was going to look like, because going into the business software course, it was kind of difficult because it was very fresh, really new, and I feel like it was a very direct course, and it was very hard to just kind of grasp onto everything. Since it was just so new, especially with like the certification process, for me it was just a bit difficult. So for sure they should implement Excel more into the classes to practice it way more to help those students who do struggle.
Should we make that a course, an actual course?
Well,
Learning
there is
Excel?
a course, which is the business software, but it's just it's a very direct course. That's the only thing. I feel like it kind of, in a manner, I think there should be two parts for it. I don't think it should have just been one. Because it's just, my acknowledgement of what people say, it's just a...
Is it a class or is it
it's
like
just
an
a
elective?
It's a class, it's a requirement. For me, it was a requirement. I had to take it.
What's your major?
Business management.
Oh, I'll probably take it next semester then.
Are you taking you're a major in it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, with the business management major, I feel like it's probably some management classes that you can combine. That's how
Oh,
I
for
feel.
sure. Principles of management. What was the other one? It was principles of management, leadership, organization, I think.
Yeah.
Could have been combined, and I think you mentioned that, which is definitely agreeable. It definitely should be combined. They're extremely similar, looking back at that statement you made. I feel like what was covered could have been covered together, because I think you could be able to implement theory and the strategies in one course. I don't think that should have been really separated. It kind of made one of the other courses, depending on which one you prefer, kind of boring because how related they are.
Even sales management have a lot of the same theories as well, with planning, controlling, and all
Yeah,
that.
they do. And I feel like it should just be implemented together, because instead of having it separate, because sometimes people are only taking that one class, leadership and organization. They might take that one semester, and then next they do principles of like management, and they're like, why am I doing the same thing the next semester? You know, or even doing it both at the same time, it just kind of feels like you're in back-to-back same class. I ended up doing that. I think I ended up having both that semester. What else do you guys think?
I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So should we? What was our decisions? First one was everybody is unanimous on that music could be removed. Then one course that must be retained at all costs. It was accounting. Yeah. And suggest ways to strengthen. So change major, minor. What did we decide on that?
Because we said like multiple things, no?
Yes, we did. We did very much. We just mentioned, we kind of combined suggested ways to strengthen and the overlap, because I feel like they kind of combine, because the overlap is the reason why we think it should be strengthened by combining it instead of having that overlap. So they kind of just clash together. That's something we really pinpoint and agreed on.
All that, and then you were saying about how there's some courses that you don't have to take if you do the major.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Change the majors or minors. Yes. Your point in just decreasing the credit requirements will also strengthen the major, because it leaves, I feel like it leaves one's mind focused on one thing, not it kind of scattered everywhere with a bunch of different electives and trying to understand something that has nothing that corresponds with the rest of your classes. Cause I always felt like I was getting sidetracked with my electives, for sure, and I feel like a lot of people did, and it kind of just threw them off when it came to, you know, learning and understanding. And you were like saying other things, right, Will?
Wait, you gotta catch my view. I zoned out for a sec. Where were we?
We were just,
Like,
Recapping the last.
Oh,
year.
yeah. And then identify information overlap between courses can be limited, as we said, macro and micro. I think everyone's,
Principles of management,
Yeah.
organizational.
yeah, they have a
Yeah.
lot of the same stuff, especially micro and macro, which is basically the same course with slight.
26.
Um,
Do we though?
yeah, I think that's about it.
that's it. Well, thank you guys for your time.
yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys. Love hearing all